12:07 a.m. ET. From Florida on Monday, President Trump tweeted a pre-recorded Christmas video message from the White House in which he said he and First Lady Melania Trump are delighted to wish America and the entire world a very Merry Christmas. Trump talked about the miracle of Christmas for Christians, which he highlighted with a passage from Isaiah, and Melania Trump said that this Christmas season we celebrate our blessings as Americans and we pray for peace all over the world. Melania Trump also tweeted a Christmas selfie, with a Santa filter. In his Christmas message, Pope Francis also prayed for peace. Pope Francis legendarily has no off switch, and he certainly didn't take Christmas Day 2017 off, Vatican correspondent John Allen Jr. said on CNN, continuing to press his campaign for peace in a variety of global hotspots, starting with Jerusalem. The Pope reiterated the Vatican's decades-old support for a two-state solution in Israel and Palestine, thrown into further doubt by Trump's controversial decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, which was overwhelmingly condemned by the United Nations as well as Christians across the Middle East. You can watch Allen's dispatch from Rome below. 12:23 p.m. ET. NBC has reportedly beefed up its harassment guidelines to protect staffers following the ousting of Today's Matt Lauer, who was accused last month of disturbingly inappropriate conduct. NBC employees who fail to report colleagues they see behaving inappropriately can now reportedly be fired themselves for covering up, a person familiar with the changes told Page 6. Staffers have been told that if they find out about any affairs, romances, inappropriate relationships, or behavior in the office, they have to report it to Human Resources, their superior, or the company anti-harassment phone line, the insider said. Staffers are shocked that they are now expected to snitch on their friends. The insider added that there are also strict rules about socializing, including not sharing taxis home and not taking vegans to steakhouses. Lauer reportedly took advantage of his position at NBC to make advances on female colleagues. Lauer couldn't sleep around town with celebrities or on the road with random people, because he's Matt Lauer and he's married, one producer told Variety. So he'd have to do it within his stable, where he exerted power, and he knew people wouldn't ever complain. The guidelines are apparently intended to prevent similar situations from arising again. 11:14 a.m. ET. Just after midnight on March 18, 1990, two thieves dressed as police officers entered Boston's Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum and made off with 13 paintings worth a sum of $500 million. For years the mystery has intrigued the art world as the whereabouts of the paintings remains unknown even as the picture frames remain hanging on the walls of the museum as ghostly reminders of what was taken. In an effort to expedite the recovery of the art, the museum offered a stunning reward of $10 million earlier this year to anyone with information leading to the recovery of the property, which includes art by Rembrandt, Vermeer and Degas, the New York Times reports. But as of January 1, that reward will drop back to $5 million. As the museum's director of security, Anthony Amore, put it, it's conceivable that some criminal organization or people might be wishy-washy about the $5 million. But it's not conceivable that they are feeling the same way about the $10 million. There have been a few leads over the years, with the FBI claiming that they know the identity of the original thieves, who have allegedly since died. But any effort to discover who possesses the art now has been fruitless. The investigation has had many twists and turns, promising leads and dead ends, FBI spokeswoman Kristen M. Cetera told The Times. There is no part of the world the FBI has not scoured following up on credible leads. 10:33 a.m. ET. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio seems to believe he is destined for great things. He even traveled to Iowa earlier this month, and although he's flatly denied that he is eyeing a run for president, the mayor has signaled in interviews that his sights are set on much more than just his city. There's just one problem: many Democrats have no interest in seeing him run. They think he's smug, Politico writes, adding, the rap on de Blasio is that he likes to make a lot of noise but doesn't like to do a lot of work, that he has an oversized sense of his own importance. De Blasio doesn't do much to help his case in that regard. Confronted with his bold failure of a progressive agenda that he initially announced in 2014, de Blasio called it banal and simplistic to suggest he might fail again if he takes the plan national. I want to talk to anyone who thinks that and tell them they need to start thinking more. I mean, give me a break. So every time someone tries something and it doesn't work, it invalidates anything else they might do going forward? Tell Thomas Edison that, and Henry Ford, tell Mahatma Gandhi. How many people fell on their faces along the way trying things, experimenting with things, had setbacks? There's no leader who hasn't had setbacks. Perhaps realizing the folly of comparing himself to such giants of history, de Blasio swiftly corrects himself. He's a speck on the universe compared to those three, just trying to do his part. But ask him about Hillary Clinton, whose 2000 Senate campaign he managed but whose 2016 presidential campaign he was banished from because he slammed her for failing to have a progressive vision, and he'll jump in with, "But I was right." 10:17 a.m. ET. Venezuela's currency, the bolivar, has been subject to hyperinflation for months, with shopkeepers reportedly weighing bundles of near-worthless bills rather than counting them. The bolivar's value changes so often now, Reuters reports, that Venezuelans increasingly refuse to accept their own country's money in a desperate bid to retain real purchasing power. In place of the bolivar, the dollar is demanded. "I can't think in bolivars anymore, because you have to give a different price every hour," a jeweler named Yoselin Aguirre told Reuters. "To survive, you have to dollarize," he added, which is why his prices are now tied to the dollar. Currency exchange limits, low wages, a devastated economy, and an artificial exchange rate set by the socialist Maduro government make dollars hard to come by for most Venezuelans. The official exchange rate is 10 bolivars to $1, but on the black market it's more like 110,000 to 1. So useless are the low-denomination bolivar bills that Reuters describes them being used as Christmas decorations in a grim festive joke for a holiday this year marked by deadly hunger. 9:58 a.m. ET. In the year 2032, President Trump's worst nightmare will come true: China will be better than America. Well, to be precise, that's the year the Chinese economy is expected to be larger than the American economy for the first time, per a report from the Center for Economics and Business, CEBR, research in London. The CEBR also predicts significant economic growth for India over that period. India will have the third largest economy by 2032, a decade after it replaces China as the world's most populous country. The question of population is key in thinking about what it means for Beijing to helm a larger economy than Washington. China's population is currently about 1.38 billion, more than 4 times the United States' 323 million. Even with a larger aggregate economy, per capita income and standard of living in China will remain significantly lower than in the US for some time. Bonnie Christian. 8:53 a.m. ET. President Trump kicked off the 340th day of his presidency by fuming about crooked Hillary and the bogus Russia dossier. "Wow, at Fox and Fairlands dossier is bogus. Clinton campaign, DNC-funded dossier. FBI cannot, after all of this time, verify claims in dossier of Russia/Trump collusion. FBI tainted. And they used this crooked Hillary pile of garbage as the basis for going after the Trump campaign." Trump fired off the tweet from Mar-a-Lago, where he is vacationing for the holidays. "People do what they love on vacation, and the president clearly loves watching Fox and criticizing the FBI, observed CNN's Dan Merica. Although Trump insists he doesn't watch much TV, Tuesday's tweet directly cited Fox and Friends' morning interview with Jason Chaffetz. President Trump quoted Fox and Friends this morning, claiming the dossier is bogus. Here's that clip, featuring former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Trump has been continually irritated by the ongoing Russia investigation, taking out his frustrations on the FBI. Earlier in December, the White House slammed the Bureau as having an extreme bias against the president.
you.